lovers, the moon is a thing of beauty. But to this man it is a deadly curse. When the moon is full, this miserable wretch turns into a hairy, snarling half-man, half-beast. Prowls the night, his fangs thirsty for human blood. He is a werewolf.
Hello and welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast, the show where we talk about Marvel's #1 lycanthrope, Jack Russell, aka the Werewolf. You know all the other stuff. We're winding it down here, guys. Let's get informal. I'm your co-host, Matt Howell.
I'm your other informal host, Jacob Malcolm.
Thanks for joining us this week, listeners. You know, Jacob, I just want to say, apropos of just doing the intro there, that I loved talking to Jamie last week. That was super fun.
Oh my God, that was so much fun, right? That was crazy.
It was fun to edit. Like I was listening back to it, I was chuckling at stuff, and it was just super fun. So
I absolutely loved it. I think I sent you a message. I was just like, okay, I totally get why Brian and Rob brought him on as a third voice, because he's a perfect third voice. Yeah, that was a delight. Definitely up there for one of our favorite guests.
And I can't stop thinking about how like the Midnight Suns books were for bad kids. He didn't buy stuff like that.
It's so funny and awesome. You're right. It's a perfect balance of like charming and hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
So as I mentioned, we're winding the season down. We have this issue and we have the following Doctor Strange issue to review. And then we're going to take a week off and then have the finale episode, which are going to be streaming live. We're going to be giving away prizes to folks who've put in their ballot submissions for voting for their favorites of different categories. So we're going to have some werewolf-related fun toys to give out, some signed Werewolf by Night posters signed by director Michael Giacchino. And we're going to be drawing those and giving those out on the air. So you should tune in and watch. It'll be super fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
I want to be that, when you do a raffle and like you must be present to win. I don't want to do that because people have jobs. You have to feed the blind in a soup kitchen or something. You know what I mean? Like there's stuff people do. I get it, but
no. But you're right. Like whenever those raffles, like they would do this at the rummage sale all the time. They'd have a raffle and they'd pull the ticket and it would have a phone number on the back and you'd be like, fuck. I mean, I guess that counts, but it's also very disappointing.
Yeah. It's a little anticlimactic.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you are not working, volunteering your time at a soup kitchen or anything like that, please try to tune in live so you can win something and we won't be angry about it.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I was reading Soup to the Blind.
Yeah.
So as far as those ballots go, keep your eyes peeled on our socials. We're going to post those on our Instagram, Twitter, and you can submit your ballots through those same channels to us directly. We're also going to post those on our Patreon page, and you don't have to be a member to go in there and check it out and to vote even. I'm going to make that completely public, wide open. Everybody's welcome. So eyes peeled. The last bit of business is, if you don't know, we have a voicemail. That's 971-220-5865, 971-220-JUNK. You can call in. I'm not going to say that I'll accept ballots through voicemail yet, but I might change my mind at the last minute. And, this is the season of being generous and whatever. I don't know. Anyway, if you don't know, the show's ending and we're coming back in February as the Bronze Age Monsters. And our first season is going to be covering Son of Satan. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be really awesome. We have lots of guests lined up. It's going to be super fun. So many people wanted to be guests on the Son of Satan season.
I know. I was kind of surprised.
It's awesome. It's going to be great.
And I was also kind of waffling way early on, like season 1 or something like that. My interest in doing Son of Satan, and then I flipped through the issues again. I was like, oh yeah, this is the good stuff right here. This is crazy.
Yeah, and I already got a jump on things. I found on eBay a super beat up copy of one of the Marvel premiere issues of Son of Satan. And I've already cut up a ton of it for buttons. I already started making some buttons, and goddamn, there's some cool shit in that
You know what
comic.
We should do? We should post those on our socials as a teaser here and tag our Bronze Age Monsters accounts so people, if they don't know yet, can jump to those and follow them so they don't lose us in the shuffle.
That's a great idea. So yeah, I'll put a nice pic together of or I actually posted a pic of me making them to our Discord that I kind of liked.
I like that picture too.
Yeah, so we should use that pic. I actually like that one.
Okay. Yeah, we're talking about our Discord server. We started one for Werewolf by Night podcast, and I'll throw a Discord server invite into the show notes for this episode. So it's good for 7 days after this was published. You can join us on there. We have categories for what are you reading? What are you listening to? What are you watching? Comics, everything. I mean, it's everything, man. Deep thoughts, miscellanea, guys.
Yeah, well, miscellanea is important because that's where I post my weekly picture of Jack Klugman as Quincy.
That's true. And every Tuesday I get up and I look through the feed before I log onto my work computer. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I don't know how that became a thing, but yeah, everyone expects it. I think I had horrible insomnia one week and I ended up like sleeping in till 10 or 11. There were angry messages.
Yeah, there were villagers.
There were villagers and torches.
Where's my Quincy?
Where's my Quincy pick? So yeah, that's the kind of fun we have on the Discord server. It's been a blast. It's been cool to really, we have a community now, and that community is awesome.
Yeah, it is fun, and everyone there is really nice except for me. So, you guys should come.
You are the bad apple.
Yep, I love that. I don't have to be a jerk. I don't have to mute anybody or kick anybody out. Everyone's super, super nice there. So it's fun. It's a rare oasis on the internet.
Yep.
Okay, so that's business. I was kind of excited to read this issue because I've always admired the cover. So let's start there. We're reading Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, issue number 26, which is cover dated February 1991. The last time we saw Jack was the last episode. That was Marvel Comics Premiere 59, which was September 1990. So Jack's been chilling for 6 months. Not even that long, probably. Oh, no. Yeah. Yeah. So if you missed last episode, you missed out, man. The last 2 episodes were critical because, and I say that every time, but this is true because the nature of Jack's curse and his lycanthropy has literally changed and completely been rewritten. So they are critical. If you don't know, Jack has integrated the beast part of his curse into his normal psyche self, and they are commingled, and the rage that the beast felt after being locked up for 27 days out of the month is gone. So he doesn't have wild periods anymore. He can change at will. He can infect people with the curse of lycanthropy if he chooses. It's a very strange change, but it also a cool thing that I think Brad Elmore might like is he's actually a lot stronger now. There was a what do you call that? Synergy between the two spirits joining together. Both of their things are better. The wolf smells sense spore stronger. Jack is stronger and he heals faster. It's just like everything's benefited from this. So he realized he was doing this all wrong for his adult life. And we were also tripping out that it's been 2 years since he turned into a werewolf because it's been 20 years on our Earth.
Yeah, that was weird. And also something that Brad Elmore would love is that Jack is basically Lorenzo Lamas in Renegade, but he's going across the country helping people out with their supernatural problems. And but Matt, I thought it was so cool that I know 6 months has passed Marvel publishing time, but this jumps right into the story. Like I felt like, and this is written by Roy Thomas, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but Roy had to like continue the story that was done in Marvel Comics Presents, because at the end of last issue, the very last page of the last issue we covered, Jack is like, well, I'm going to go to Denver. There's been some cattle mutilations. I know.
And when I saw that carried out, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I know.
And yes, thanks for pointing out that I skipped over the last page of the last issue because it wasn't my favorite part of the story that ends with Bad to the Bone playing as he rides off on a motorcycle. But we have a fucking beautiful cover here. And it is done by the art team that does the interior art. So I'm going to save that for Jacob to talk about. But I love the logo for Doctor Strange. I don't know why, because it's so retro. And it's like these shivering, spooky letters with a drop shadow behind them. There's a full moon looming in the background, which does not matter anymore, by the way, guys. Full moons don't mean shit anymore. But there's a purple sky, and there's Doc Strange holding his arms up. And I love that they draw him with the Ditko dots.
Yep.
On his gauntlets. That's so fucking, not gauntlets, his gloves. But he's raising his arms up, his cape spreading out. And in the foreground, in kind of a 3D gesture, a huge hulking werewolf is reaching out his claws towards us. And the bottom says, "Enter Werewolf by Night." And I really like the lighting, the moonlight on the top half of his form. And there's this inner glow in the front towards where we are, our camera, our eyes are, where it's all orange and lit up, and he's lunging towards us. And Doc Strange is flanked on both sides by mysterious men in cowboy hats with guns, and they're almost entirely in shadow. Beautifully handled blacks there.
Yeah, what a cool fucking cover, man. Like, I'm going to have a lot of good things to say about this art team. But this cover is so striking. The colors, especially that weird, like, kind of pinkish purple sky, like everything, like just the composition of everything. Yeah, the colors, especially on this cover, are just crazy good. So yeah, I mean, I think this is a good indication of what we're going to get on the inside of this issue. Yeah,
and I just have to say, in 1991, this was the end of my freshman year, or halfway through my freshman year in high school. If I were walking in a spinner rack or a comic shop and I saw this, even if I didn't fucking like Doctor Strange or fucking werewolves, I would be compelled to buy this based on this cover.
Yep.
I think it sold. Yeah. I hope it sold a lot of issues based on the cover.
I hope so too, but it's also, for 1991, like the cover especially, like I mean, it's kind of timeless. Like I would be entranced by it right now.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so cool. It definitely it is elevated above a lot of the busy, scratchy 90s Marvel cover art that we'll see as the decade progresses. So no, I have nothing but great things to say about this cover.
Yeah, you're right, though, before we move in. There's a timeless quality to this art that it borrows from kind of everything that came before it, and it does feel classic. I don't love everything in this, but I loved it as a whole. And this is a really good indicator here on the cover. So yeah, let's dive in.
So yeah, we open on a trio of hunters. They're stalking something in the snow, and we get some really classic Jack Russell narration. So I'm gonna read some of that now. It says, "I can smell them coming, tramping across yesterday's snow. 3 of them, a trio of distinct scents, mingling and separating, and then mingling again in my flared nostrils. They pause, looking down in somber silence when they reach the red-stained scene of the ritualized slaughter, which journalists have given the name cattle mutilation." And the final bit is, "That's when I let loose. It's also when they finally see me." So yeah, there's a trio of hunters. They look so strange. They look so antiquated, which I guess makes sense in a lot of ways when you kind of find out who they are. And yeah, when the reveal. But one of them one of them's kind of wearing a deer stalker hat. One of them looks like he's wearing a fucking bowler, in a weird way. Like they're just, and yeah, they're drawn very, I don't know. So call me crazy, but in that third upper panel, like some of those guys look very Frank Miller to me.
Okay.
In a lot of ways. Like some of the faces in this issue, like definitely had a Miller quality to them.
I see it now that you say it. I struggled to find one of those and I didn't do it. So good on you.
I think so. But yeah, I mean, this art team is very distinct. And like you said about the cover, they, like this narration says, they commingle the old school and the emerging new school of art so well. It's seamless to where you can't really tell. It's such a good combination of both, and this opening page is a great indicator of that. I love the middle panel where it says the cattle mutilation, and yeah, there are these fallen cattle. But in the night, they're colored green almost, which I know is kind of a strange choice, but it works. It's weird. It's eerie, and I think that's what the colorist was going for, was eerie, and I think he succeeded in that.
Something's off.
Yeah,
Right.
something's definitely off. And so, yeah, on that bottom page, on that bottom panel, they're hearing this grrr off page, and yeah, that's when they know they're fucked.
On that bottom panel where they're regarding the growl, I love the guy on the left that looks like Basil Rathbone that has the hunting cap with the ear flaps.
Yeah, I know.
He's so cool looking.
That's great.
So page 2 is a splash page. We were cheated out of one on page 1. So they turn and look at what that was, and we get the splash of that fallen cattle, and it's torn open, and there's steam coming up out of it, and Jack Russell is kind of crouched over it and turning over, like when you scare a monster, you startle something, and whips his head around his shoulder and looks at you, and his eyes are glowing red, his claws are dripping blood, he's growling, and it says, "A werewolf is not a pretty sight." Not my favorite depiction here. Gotta be honest. It's an amalgamation of every version of the beast we have seen this season.
Yep.
And it fails in that, or because of that, I guess. Like, it just felt like there's muscles on muscles on muscle or something. Like, it just was really busy and strange to me.
Yeah, there's a couple of those where, yeah, that it just doesn't work, and I think it is the musculature on a couple of those depictions that I think neither of us would really like all that much. Yeah, like you said, I don't love 100% of the art in this issue, but I think the whole thing still is great on the whole.
He looks like Christian Bale in The Mechanic, or whatever that was called. Or
he does, yeah. You know, it's funny. Yeah, it was the Machinist.
Machinist.
Yeah,
but he's also on steroids.
Yeah, it's a weird balance. That's what I'm looking at my notes, and I think I say the word emaciated a few times, but he's emaciated, but also super jacked up. It's a weird, I don't know how they did it. That's a feat. It's not a feat that I enjoy looking at, but it's something.
I looked at these pages a lot. I read this a couple of times, and this is the one I kind of alighted over the most. Like, just like, yeah,
I know.
Wile E. Coyote, I get it.
Yeah. On the next page, the hunters open fire, and a slug hits Jack as it looks like he's kind of run. Well, I don't know. I don't think he's running. He's still just kind of standing there. Slug hits Jack in the shoulder. And that's when the narration, he realizes that they're using silver bullets, which, he did not expect at all. So that silver bullet temporarily just took him down. So he's lying in the snow, and but the hunters, as soon as the hunters approach him, he leaps up and slashes at one of them, and it's a great panel. That it's the colors and the movement of Jack is he's a blur, because of course he's basically super werewolf now. So like you were saying in the beginning, everything is enhanced on him. So yeah, we can imagine that he's moving to where you just see a blur. And looks like he just kind of guts this guy. He says, "But I'm not finished yet." And then he runs off, and the final narration says, "Not while the moon is full and the way is wide and free." And so Jack is running away, and the hunters are shooting at him.
I was a big fan of the way this artist laid out these pages, the panels. The layouts are exciting, inventive without being distractingly, edgy. Like the choice of having the gutters be purple, and using kind of wider spaces or smaller panels with bigger gutters. It's just interesting. Like, it just pops.
Yeah, the gutters are multiple colors throughout the entire issue, and they're non-traditional in an almost traditional style.
Yes.
Exactly. It's not the jagged panels and the wackiness we saw in the last two issues of Marvel Comics Presents. They're using the formal medium, but in a really, really cool way. You're right. It's economical, it's streamlined, and really, really cool.
Really dynamic. I love that last panel of the beast getting up and running off after slashing that dude's gut, charging towards us as they're going blam, blam, blam after him. Great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the majority of the depictions of the werewolf in this are great. There's like 3 out of 20 that I'm like, but the majority of them are fucking awesome.
And I gotta tell you, man, just that page we just talked about, just having a different writer for Jack's voice was so nice. I was being very generous with my critique of the previous one, where you were a little more dour about it, but It's just nice having him just be flat now instead of, I don't know, wild and crazy guy or whatever the fuck he was doing.
Yeah, no, it's flat and it's beautiful. And I don't know if, the stuff that I've read of Roy in the 80s and 90s, I like, and I actually think his prose is a lot better than what it was when he was a young man. And now that I'm saying that, I'm like, wow, I wonder if that's because he's writing with his wife. He's writing with Dan. And he's like, oh shit, I got to bring my A game, or my wife is going to make fun of me. Yeah. So maybe that's why. But I feel like his writing in the 80s and 90s is maybe his strongest, at least prose wise, his strongest ever.
So I agree with you. And, might just also be living some life and getting wisdomous.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, that could be it too.
So on the next page, the hunters are crunching after him through the snow. And there's kind of a strange phrase here. He says, to my ears, the sound is as loud and unmistakable as the tread of a Leviathan. I don't think that's a thing. And Leviathan's from like the Bible. And
the Leviathan lives in water.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a water. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Right after we praised him effusively, but we'll allow this.
That's actually why I wanted to say it before I started my page. So Jack's thinking about how it throbs. His wound aches from the silver bullet, and he's got to put some distance between him and his hunters. They are chasing after him. He approaches a huge ravine, and it's his only chance to get gain some ground on these guys. So he hopes he has the strength. He makes it. He barely makes it. Scrabbles up the other side, and they start shooting after him. And they say, "No, it's no good. We'll have to go around." And he says they won't give up the hunt, though. And then we get this nice shot of him holding his shoulder as blood's gushing out of the wound. And it says, "And I didn't expect them to."
Yeah, just cool color choices. And I mean, and they're weird. Like the blood that's coming out of Jack is purple, and his eyes are pink. And it's just, which is weird because this is a palette and a year that I would expect to hate. I'm just like, oh, of course shit is getting like hypercolor and, weird. But yeah, there's just something about this creative team all together. Like they do things that I don't think would work on paper, but they look fucking great.
Yeah. If you told me this is what Prince is like when he turns into a werewolf, I would like, that sounds terrible. But then I see it and I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah. All right, next page, the hunters. Yeah, they kind of traverse this ravine and they track the beast all the way to a river where they kind of stop and regroup. And the narration says, they won't give up the hunt though. And at the bottom panel, we kind of pull back and we see that Jack is watching them from this, high above, maybe on a little cliff. And it says, not that I want them to. And this is my least favorite depiction of the werewolf. I think you're probably going to agree with me on that.
100%.
It's weird. It's very weird. Yeah. Again, emaciated yet jacked. And that's not great.
You know what I didn't realize until just now is that there was a parallel construction. They won't give up, and I didn't expect them to in the last page, and then not that I want them to. I didn't notice that the first read through. Interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like this that they're tracking. He says they're tracking his prints, but also the blood in them, and then the blood starts disappearing from the prints because his human vitality has already begun to heal and repair the wounds. So he's got super healing, not Wolverine or anything, but or Deadpool, but. A silver bullet wound is healing up. That's fucking something.
Yeah, it is.
And this panel of the hunters, just without saying anything, just silently regarding the river they have to cross to get to him, with these dead eyes, just really kind of creepy. In the first indication, as far as I can tell, that something is off with these dudes. Like, it's like pod people type of shit. Like, something's wrong.
Yeah, they're not like, you obviously know in these first couple pages, like they're not quipping, they're not calling each other by name, they're not good old boys like having a fun time hunting. There's
zero Carls in this group.
Yeah, definitely. And it's fucking creepy. It is pod people in a way. And when that fits, that definitely fits.
Yeah, so on the next page, we finally get our belated credits, but it's another splash. So our title of the story is Werewolf at the Door. And I like that the artist chose to, again, another thing I didn't notice at first, to put the credits and the title on the symbol that's on the window in the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, like we're looking through it, and it's in the foreground, and it's so cool. But we see Rintra. I always forget his name. Is that Rintra?
That's Rintra. Yeah.
Rintra and Doctor Strange and Clea. And Clea's in the foreground staring out the window at us, the reader. And Rentra's letting Doctor Strange know that she's been doing this basically since he left and went to the arid zone. And he's like, I think you mean Arizona, Rentra. And so, yeah, we get some backstory here that she left the Dark Dimension to Umar and Baron Mordo and blah, blah. And so she's had a major change to her life and her role in her life. And so she's upset and has just been staring out the window, just kind of processing or something this whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, what a great opening page. And well, let's talk about our cast of creators. We have Roy and Dan Thomas, writers, Chris Marinan, penciler, Mark McKenna, inker. We have Pat Brousseau, letterer, and George Rousseau, colorist. So there we go. That's why we love the fucking colors so much.
Love George.
Oh my God, George has maybe colored, I mean, between him and Petra, they've maybe colored more Jack Russell than any other human being, honestly.
I think so, easily.
Easily, yeah. And George Rousseau, I mean, my God, he is not a young man in 1991. Like his first credit was in the fucking 40s. And so, but he's a master. And maybe that's why these, obviously that's why these colors work.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I saw his name when I got to this page, like, yes. And then I was like, I was still separating it from the work. Like I was still saying, wow, this is dynamic and fresh without being edgy and edgelordy and annoying, and not realizing this is an older dude, like keeping up and playing with it. And it works.
No, George Rousseau was born in like the late 20s, I think. But he's such a pro. And we know that he took over as head of coloring in Marvel from Marie Severin in the early 70s. And yeah, the guy is a fucking master. He's an old master. And so, yeah, it's so exciting for him to color Jack again. So let's talk about the artists a little bit. So Chris Marinan got his start in 1986 at Eclipse Comics on that weird Champions book. So I don't know. I don't know if this has come up before, but okay, there was a Champions book comic but it was also a role-playing game. I almost think it was a role-playing game first, and it was almost like an engine, like a world-building engine to create superheroes.
Wow,
and
this is vaguely familiar.
The more that I kind of read into it, like I started kind of researching, and it was kind of cool. Like at first I was just like, oh yeah, that fucking thing, it stayed around forever. But the more I researched, I was like, oh, this is fucking cool. Like it's pretty neat, and it ran forever, and it had nothing to do with Marvel's The Champions. I think that Marvel, if they didn't have a copyright on Champions, if they did have a copyright, it had run out by this time, and they had not renewed it.
Yeah, because Champions ran like 14 issues, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think there's a fan of it. I mean, maybe, right as I shit talk it, I know hopefully we'll get a voicemail of someone like, the Champions were the greatest. So, but but no, I don't think so. But yeah, he then went on to do a pretty long run on Wonder Woman over at DC, which I'm very curious about now.
Who's writing that?
I'm not sure who was writing that, actually. But he did a pretty big run on that. I think he did 20 or 30 issues.
In the late 80s?
In the late 80s, yeah. And so his first Marvel credit, though, is this very issue of Doctor Strange.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So he went on to do a ton of fucking work for Marvel, like a lot on Marvel Comics Presents. He had a big run on Nova, but then he kind of left mainstream comics and went over to Heroic Publishing, who had continued the Champions line. So the Champions is kind of Marinan's life's work in a way.
Wow.
And most of these Champions comics are like tie-ins, for this role-playing game, but I don't know. I mean, I would love for someone to contact us that played this, but it almost seems like you do these you do these exercises to generate characters.
That sounds
it's
fucking
so weird.
rad.
Like there's different categories. Like there's a category for, you know, a superhero that is associated with a country, that is a country's champion. And you get to choose a country and then figure out what that, I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Because it's like guided creativity, right? Like
it is guided creativity, and it seems very complex. Like this game does not seem like something that would be super easy to play.
Something I would like to try to play, but not DM.
No, definitely not. And this is also something, the more I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, you'd have to play this sober. Like you need all of your faculties to do this. So yeah, I thought it was cool. I love his work, and I think it's neat that he spent so much time on this championship, which is cool.
Yeah, I echo your sentiment there, listener. If you know what we're talking about and you have more information, please hit pause after I say the number, 971-220-5865, 971-220-JUNK, and tell us more about this. I'm totally into this now. I'm going to do a rabbit hole thing after the show.
Cool. So, all right. So the inker for this issue, Mark McKenna, he came on board as an inker over Butch Guice's pencils, I think, on issue 21 of Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme. And he's going to stay on until about issue 33. So Mark McKenna's first Marvel credit is inking an issue of, okay, see if you remember this, Sectars, Warriors of Symbion, the insect people,
yes.
The like half insect. I know it was a weird thing to where I think I actually had one or two issues, but had 100% forgot about it until I read this credit. And then when I saw one of the covers, I was like, oh yeah, I have a weird inner memory of having like one or two issues of this really weird book. It's a tie-in comic for like a Coleco line of toys.
Yeah, I was gonna say it feels like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a toy comic, but it was so it's these like half human, half bug people, and they're called Sectars.
Not quite an Atari seizure, but definitely a
yes
bright glimmer of recollection in my eyes.
Yeah, I really want the Atari seizure to become canon for our show. When I was re-listening to last week's episode, I was just like, oh no, that we're going to use that again because it's it's going to be shorthand for those weird bursts that you get when you rediscover something as an adult.
The funny thing is that and I was going to say it last week, but I didn't want to ruin my cleverness to Jamie. Was like, it's essentially Proust's Madeleine cookie. But but I bought an Atari and put in Berserk, and I had the same effect that Proust's French cookie did.
Oh my god! Is that from the series? Is that from Remembrances of
Things Past or whatever?
Things Past, yeah.
I've totally read all 3,000 pages of that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Alicia has. I think she's read the entire thing.
Holy shit! Isn't it two huge like Bible-sized volumes?
It's like 4 huge Bible size.
Oh my god!
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot, but I've read. I think I read the first one. I did not continue in it, but of course it's amazing. Of course it is. But
I'm sure it is.
It's a lot.
Can you imagine? Like, I think about all the time, like, the way the mind, because of the lack of technology, the way the mind had to work in previous centuries. So, you read a letter from someone to a casual associate, and it's just like this, it sounds like fucking Shakespeare to us. And then we're like, you up? Want to fuck? Yeah, be right there. Where you at? Why were you at? Like, and it's just like that kind of thing, like where it's like, this unlocked this, like he had to get a pen and like 80 sheets of paper and just start scribbling, and he didn't sleep all that night. And now we're just like, you want to mash?
Yeah, it's so funny. It's no longer do we have Kafka's letters to Felice, or even Bukowski's letters to his editors. It's just it's just we
don't need it anymore, which I guess is good. But
I guess.
But I mean, I've seen teen books that are literally text conversations, like written a story written through texts.
Yep. There you go.
So I don't want to be that. I mean, from the beginning of the earliest findings of writings in human history, there's old people saying these young people are fucking everything up and we're fucked.
Yep,
like from
thousands
the dawn
of years
of man.
ago. Thousands of years.
So I don't want to fall in that cliche, but
no.
It's just weird that we were on the precipice of technology, like the internet, like.
Yeah, I feel like that's the only caveat that I think we do have is the internet, which of course has never happened in human history, and obviously has changed the world for many different ways. So that's our only caveat to where we don't exactly have to fall into that same category of the last 1,000 years.
There's one big
thousands
asterisk.
of years. Yeah, giant asterisks there. But yeah, okay. I did want to mention a little bit about Rintra, just to get us up to speed a little bit on there. He's an alien from the planet Reval who showed up first in 1986, I think, in Doctor Strange 80. And yeah, so right now he's an apprentice of Doctor Strange.
How long was Topaz around this? Was it this title or was it the previous one when she was, because she calls him Master?
Yeah. So, Topaz has been, so we last saw her in like the final issue of Werewolf by Night, I think. And, then after that, she moved over to Tomb of Dracula for a bit. She was fighting Mephisto, I think, in Tomb of Dracula.
Oh, wow.
Then there was a Fantastic Four issue that was kind of about Mephisto and her. And then she started showing up in Doctor Strange books, I think around the same time as Rintra did, right around 1986. And she's been a part of Strange's story at this point for 5 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because this is 91. She started, she first started appearing in the book in 1986. She's not in every issue, but she's in a lot. She's in quite a few. Like she's part of his crew for a while.
Okay. Yeah, like I haven't read a ton of Doctor Strange outside of Ditko's, so like, yeah, I bought the omnibus editions because I want to get caught up. But like, yeah, when I saw Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, I saw Rintra. I was like,
yeah,
I know him,
yeah, I know.
and I'm excited, but I don't know why.
Yeah, exactly. So, those are our creators, and I'm just so excited for this issue and the next issue because I think these creators really gel with each other and do some really great work.
Yes, to the point where I meant to ask you, like, if the pencil and inker had a working relationship, but apparently they just were strapped together for this and just clicked.
Yeah, they just really clicked. You know, I mean, I don't think they worked together a ton. You would expect them to be like a Esposito and now I can't remember the other guy's name, but yeah, just one of those like
Kane?
penciler. No. It's I'm disappointed in myself. But yeah, you would expect them to be one of those teams that have just worked together forever. But no, I don't think they worked together all that much. I mean, a little bit. They stayed together for a while, but no. And this is their first issue together, and it looks great.
Last question about the credits. Did you get a sense of whether they had a long career? Like, were they present like in the turn of the century, still working in comics, or have they moved on?
I think both of them definitely were there around the turn of the century. I'm not sure. I mean, I think I'm not sure how much they're working today, but I wouldn't be shocked.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next page, top panel, we kind of see Strange and Rintra. They kind of have like what I call like a rude whisper conversation about Clea, because I know she's kind of out of it and is thinking about other things, but they're like 6 feet away from her and probably having like I don't know how quietly a man bull can whisper. So
stage whisper is at best.
Yeah. So it's a little rude, but. Yeah, they're talking about the dark dimension, and then and the Strange kind of finally mans up and goes over to comfort her, but she cuts him off. She's like, "I'll be all right, Stephen. I've been in exile before." She's like, "Of course, that was before the flames of Regency settled upon my shoulders, because she was the ruler of the dark dimension and just recently became deposed." She says, "I've grown so used to thinking of the problems of the dark dimension inhabitants as my problems. It's going to be a bit hard to let go." And so then Wong comes in and says, "Pardon my intrusion, master, but you have a visitor." And then Topaz bursts in. It's funny, like, because Strange says that she, his comment when she runs in, she's like, "I'm sorry, Wong, I just had to see Stephen right away." He says, "How was Europe? I hope you left a few remnants in the boutiques of Paris and Rome." And remembering this panel because of his comment, I just would imagine she's just like carrying tons of boxes and bags.
Yeah.
You know, like Nora Charles, like in the first, in her introduction in the first Thin Man movie. Yep. But she's not. That was my own idiot brain.
Yeah, and the doorman has to come in right behind her, right, with his arms full as well. Yeah, totally. I had the same thought.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah. I mean, how excited were you to have Topaz walk through the door? Like, oh my God.
I have a one-word note for this page, and it says Topaz.
Yep, that's right. Oh, it's so nice. And she's great. And she's become this really developed character. Yep. And it's so fucking cool to see her again.
And we're treated to, on the next page, a gorgeous depiction of her that kind of echoes like Ditko at his most romance comic-y. As she's letting him know that she doesn't mean to be rude, but she's been possessed. And she says, oh, hey, Clea. How are things in the dark dimension? And so Steven's like, all right, just give me the bare bones of this outline here. She's like, okay, I was in Europe. I was drawn to the Spanish castle, and I went in there and I went and checked out this area that's kind of not on the tour. And suddenly I felt this alien spirit invade my mind, take possession deep down of my very soul. All I sensed was its name, Olacamus. But that enabled me to go rummaging through ancient magic books for a spell to cast it out. The spell I learned requires certain things you can only help me obtain, Stephen. Fire from a demon, the talon of a vampire in its bat form, and believe it or not, the fur of a werewolf. And this whole time she's saying she's kind of like holding her head like she has a headache, like she's just like, I can't get this information out fast enough. And I was stoked at the bottom of the page. I love this recurring theme of the newspaper clippings tying in the Jack thing. So she pulls out one that says new sighting of werewolf slasher. And the other one says man beast in Colorado, more cattle found mutilated. And she's showing this to Steven saying, I don't know the whereabouts of any demons or vampires, but these Colorado headlines may well point the way to a true werewolf. Will you help me, Steven? And then Rintress pipes in, and this has tripped me out. He's like, I know. So Master's brother, Victor, has become a vampire. And so, and then, you know, he gets cut off and God, anyway, I looked up Victor Strange. He is the second Baron Blood. I don't know how he got turned into a vampire. I don't know how he took the mantle of Baron Blood, a character I love from that burned Captain America story, but he's been around since the Invaders, I think in the 70s. But, yeah, just like, what the fuck? So anyway, Doctor Strange is like, Clea, may I see you alone for a moment, please? Because this is like, everyone's just talking at once, and it's very chaotic.
It's just this info dump. Everyone's just vomiting information. And yeah, like, honestly, I mean, both of us do a lot of research for these issues. Some issues you don't have to do too much. But this, I felt like reading this comic, every other panel, I'm like, what? Like, what? And then I have to go down and like research and read like 3 comics to understand what the fuck this is. Because, yeah, I had forgotten Doctor Strange had a brother. I sure as fuck didn't know he turned into a vampire. Yeah. And so, yeah, just to get context for this issue, it took a lot of time, as I know you spent a lot of time on it too, just to understand it. Because I'm like, oh, I want to know what's going on here. And yeah, again, Roy, king of the fucking editor's notes, gives no context. And maybe maybe at this point he had learned his lesson a little bit in that, like, well, if I put like 4 editor's notes, it detracts from the art. It detracts from the layout of the page. The flow. So I mean, yeah, he's making us do the heavy lifting. Yes. But I do want to give him a tip of the hat and thank you for the Fortean Times kind of fascination. Like, what the fuck? I love so this. Cool. Like, he took that from the last Marvel Comics Presents issue, just like, oh, I'm going with this. Like, we're going to do all the weird fucking stories. Anytime I'm doing Jack Russell, it's going to be a weird Fortean Times article, and he's there. But I got to tell you, man, that panel where she's listing off the things she needs for the spell, and she says, believe it or not, the fur of a werewolf. My heart kind of broke there, where I was like, I know. Really? You wouldn't call your, I'm assuming, former lover on this continent when you come back here and seek aid from an American? Well, I had to kind of make stuff up in my head a little bit about that because, yeah, her reception of Jack, when we get to that, is fairly chilly. I'm not sure that she's even really mentioned Jack in any of these Doctor Strange things because Doctor Strange doesn't know who he is. So it's I think we had to connect a lot of dots narratively, and the dots are a little tragic, a little sad.
Yeah, I did a lot of headcanon in this issue, and it was all sad stuff. And in my mind, if he, I don't know if he's setting it up to tell us this next issue or not. I didn't read ahead, but I feel like there was definitely an off-camera, off-stage kind of parting that was not amicable, or at least if not bitter, but just not like no one's happy walking away from the end of this relationship.
No, and we'll definitely talk more about that when they meet in a couple pages. So on the next page, so Stephen goes to have this private conversation with the woman he loves, and he immediately magically roofies her.
Tylenol PM, baby.
Yep, I know. I was just like, really? And he starts doing this spell that she obviously knows what he's doing, and she's like, "No, Stephen, I won't let you put me to sleep. I won't." And he's like, "Enwrap you in their ghostly haze till you reach the realm of dreams." And then, she just collapses. And he's like, "I'm sorry, Clea." And this was his reasoning behind this. He says, "I can't take you into harm's way before we know the level of your power you still retain." Not because she's too powerful, because I think before she was really fucking powerful. But now that she's been kicked out of the dark dimension, he's just like,
it's a liability.
She's a fucking liability. So I have to roofie you so you won't ruin our Scooby Gang mystery. So that was a little disappointing. I was a little disappointed in Stephen for that.
How much has Roy been the head writer of this title?
Well, he's been the writer since issue 5.
Okay. Prior to, did he write a lot of Doctor Strange, like in the 70s or anything?
That I'm not sure about. I mean, I know that obviously he had in the past, but as far as like the 80s and 90s, I don't know. I mean, he's been on this book since the 80s because, this book is already, but that's a little, I'm not sure about that. That's
okay. And this was a successful book, right? This went to like 96 or something. Like
it went for a really long time. And I think Roy's run especially was very successful. I think it sold really well. And I think it's remembered really well.
I mean, there's an omnibus edition of it, so it's obviously highly regarded. Yeah,
it's very highly regarded, and I totally see why, because Roy did really cool shit. I mean, I think when we last covered the backup Book of the Vishanti in issue 9 of Sorcerer Supreme, I mean, that was such a weird issue because the main issue, the A story in that, was basically just a text article, like some kind of tell-all that was written by an associate of his. I'm not sure if it's the woman who he calls later on.
Is it Morgana Blessing?
I thought it was, right? Did she write that article?
Okay. When I looked her up, it said that she had written a book about him while he was believed dead. Wasn't that okay?
I thought that was an excerpt from the book. I thought it was an excerpt from that book, but it also had kind of like, I know that Jameson, was into it because it was kind of like a tell-all about Stephen Strange.
Well, fucking Greenwich Village hippies. Right?
No, exactly.
So, chomping down some Tums between meetings.
That's what happens at the bottom of this page. He calls Morgana up and gets I love that Doctor Strange gets tricked by a goofy answering machine message.
Classic.
That's so good. He's like, there's like, "Hi, Morgana Blessing here." He's like, "Hello, Morgana, this is Stephen Strange." And then she's like, "Or rather, I'm not here. If you're calling for me or for my house guest, Victor Strange, we've left town for a few days. Nobody at home but my vicious guard dog, Magellan II. Bye." And I did like his expression in that because he's like, "Ah, fuck."
Yeah, this. He's like pissed. He's glowering. Yes. It's like one notch above, like, "Wait for the beep."
Yeah.
You gotta leave your name. You gotta leave your number. Remember those tapes?
Yep. Oh, man. Yeah, it's so goofy. And I love it when he gets tricked into goofy shit.
So I guess I was asking about Roy's history with him because this page, like you just said, he essentially roofies his love of his life.
Yeah.
He has a reason. Does he always have these kind of ethically, like, because I mean, they've definitely portrayed him that way in the films too, like where he kind of makes choices where it's like, yeah, this isn't an easy choice to make, but I'm doing the best thing.
Yeah, I mean, but Roy's spent a lot of time with this character. I mean, he wrote him in the 60s and 70s, like he's spent a lot of time. But you're right. I would be curious if Roy was the one that kind of made him a little bit ethically
grayer,
or morally dubious.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely grayer. That would be cool. Yeah. My instinct is that maybe that was probably Steve Englehart, but yeah, Roy can surprise you sometimes back in the day and do some really nuanced, cool shit. So maybe.
Cool. So on the next page, he rejoins the other room, and Topaz is asking about, Clea, and he's like, she just needs some sleep. That's I was like, oh, God, is he just cold hearted? Like, does he just have ice in his veins? And he says, well, my brother's out of town, so we can't get that vampire talent right now. Let's try your Colorado lead first. And she's like, okay, whatever you say. Are we taking a plane or? And then he does another thing that is totally wonky to me, where he just does a spell of immobility on her and freezes her. She's picking up her purse and her backpack or whatever. And he's like, okay, before we go to Rintra, I've got to make sure of something. And he pries into her mind and reveals, he's like, I want to make sure she's telling me the truth, right? Like, I need to see this. Oh, okay. There's the castle in Spain. Okay. I see it. There's a spirit that possessed her. Olacamas. She said that's name was. And it's this weird, it's all in greens, like an astral thing, like inside of her mind of a castle, and her with a pink beam coming out of her green mind, and a weird little, it almost looked like the demon from the end of the Haitian voodoo.
Oh yeah, kind of did, right?
That weird thing that was coming up out of the lava or whatever that was. Anyway, it's got a lizard tail and it's all squishy squatchy and just like all like plasma. And he's like, okay, and there she is doing research in some of the lesser magical tomes because, I've read the Darkhold. And he's like, there she is learning about spells and vampires, werewolves, demon fire. And he's like, it looks like she's planning on getting her demon fire from the flame around the head of that so-called Ghost Rider. And we get this nice little 3-shot down here of like the Nirvana of Marvel Comics at this time. It's a vampire bat, werewolf by night, foaming green saliva, and Ghost Rider.
Yeah, it's
so he just mind fucks anybody he feels is justified.
Yeah. So so he did it on the previous page to the love of his life. And on this page, he totally pries into Topaz's mind. They're friends. I'm pretty sure she saved his life. Like this is one of his closest associates, and she totally is fine with all this magical shit. She's an empath. He just has to be like, hey, can I just peek in your mind real fast and figure out, just a little shorthand so I don't have to ask you a ton of questions. And I'm sure she would be like, fine,
just ask.
Just ask. We've been friends for like 5 years.
Yeah. Like it's weird if like somebody takes your last Coke out of your fridge without asking it first. If you ask, I'll give it to you. It's not about that. It's just, it's a sample, dude. Just, I don't know.
No,
it felt weird to me. Like she's a student of his. You just have to assume, like, I hope you're not looking at the time I changed a tampon in Central Station. You know what I mean? Like, it's just weird.
No, it's weird. Yeah, it's an extreme violation, and pretty creepy. So no, Steven doesn't come off great in this issue, and that's just part of the character, and that's definitely part of him.
Okay.
So on the next page, Topaz awakens, and she's all ready to. She's like, "Oh, Steven, are we ready to leave?" And I like that he says, I know now what I suspected from the first. The spirit is buried very deeply within her psyche. It would be very dangerous to Topaz to try to remove it with a simple spell of exorcism. And this is because Rintra had asked him, just like, well, why can't you just get rid of it? Like, why do we have to fucking do all this?
Good question.
Yeah, it is a good question. And he answers him, and then it's just like, we're not going to take a plane. I'm just going to, do this incantation of levitation. And then he makes some joke about, we're not going to lose our luggage on some airline. So I'm going to do this. Pretty dad joke. And then Yeah, they end up, and then suddenly they're like, and here we are, Colorado. If we're gonna find you a werewolf with some fur to spare, Topaz, we picked the right time for it. A third night of a full moon. And yeah, I did love that little inset panel on the bottom. It's so just like I don't know, it's kind of silly, and yeah, I loved it.
I also like that middle panel when Doctor Strange's is it called source splaining? What do you call sorcerer splaining? That he's sorcerer splaining to her, like to Rentra, like, look, dude, obviously I would do it if I could do it myself. It's too deep in there. And then she's just flying along like Power Girl, whatever, and she's like, as an empath, Rentra, I'm very sensitive to what will work for me. Which is just, I like that Droid had her pipe in and go, by the way, I can speak for myself, Steven. So,
yeah. And I'm right here.
Yeah, I'm right fucking here.
No, Topaz is great. Like, aside from the uncomfortability when she finally meets Jack. But no, this more empowered Topaz is what we were wanting the entire time we read about her in Werewolf by Night. Like, this is what we wanted. She's supremely powerful, and she needs to, she needs to be written to have that confidence and that power, and she is here.
Yes, and she brought a badass change of clothing, by the way.
Yep.
So when we see her on the next page, she's got a white cowboy hat and a pink turtleneck sweater and a cool jacket, like cowhide jacket with a white rough lapel.
I like to call that the McLeod jacket.
Oh, thank you, God. I was like, I know there's a fucking word for this. So this page starts, and Strange has them inside of a basically a sphere that has landed in the snow in a cow pasture. So they're like, what's a biodome, essentially, just standing there. And Rentra whispers to Stephen, he's like, the air is distinctly stuffy inside your aura spell, master. Not that I question your judgment, of course, but like, I was like, is this getting ripe in here? Like, did it take that long to fly? And he's still whispering back to him, it's necessary to keep us unseen, unheard, and unsmelled by those cattle. At least since you spotted local hunters staking out nearby herds, we knew a likely spot to alight. Tell me, Rentra, those cows over there. Oh, no, sorry, that's Topaz saying that.
Yeah.
So they just alighted over the fact that we saw some hunters staking out a thing. And then she says, hey, look at those cows, Rentra. Do any of them appeal to you? And she's just fucking with them. It's like, do you want to pork any of those? You're a bull. And he's like, you of all people should recall, Miss Topaz, that my tastes run along decidedly more human lines. This made me go, what? Okay. So has he hooked up with a human when she's been around as a disciple of Strange, or did he hit on her?
I thought that at some point Rentra kind of had the hots for Topaz. I think but I
can't begrudge him that.
Yeah, I can't either. I mean, my God, who could? But yeah, like I say, I have not read every issue.
Okay.
Of like I say, Rentra and Topaz basically came into the Strange verse in 1986.
Okay.
So,
well, I clutched my pearls.
Yes. Well, we'll do it a little bit. That's okay.
Yeah. So she goes, oh, you're right. I'm sorry. And then he goes, and she's like, hey, I said I was sorry. And he just kind of like makes a fist and just starts barreling down. He's going to start scratching the ground and getting ready to charge. He's like, Strange is like, he's not reacting to you, Topaz, but to that figure in the shadows creeping toward the cattle. Do you think it's, and we can see it's Jack as the werewolf approaching this cow pasture. And Strange says, it is, Topaz, a werewolf. Don't move, either of you, not for a minute. I want to see what it does when it gets a bit closer to those and it's approaching the cows, werewolf is. And then Rentra is like autopilot and just like, rawr, and just charges, bursts out of this biodome sphere. It's like, Rentra, don't.
Yeah, it's I don't know, the tone on this page was kind of hilarious. Like I almost thought that Rentra is making some kind of like highfalutin fart joke or something.
I thought so too.
Yeah, some kind of smelt it, dealt it kind of
automobiles thing. Of like Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme.
It is. They're traveling together. I'm sure it took a long ass time to get to Colorado. So yeah. It's really, really funny.
A side note: I just watched this thing on YouTube, real fast. Sorry, that film, the original cut, was 3 hours, and that the deleted scenes out of all of the stuff are longer than the finished film is. Like they shot it all.
Of what? The new Doctor Strange?
No, I'm sorry. Plane, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, Plane, Trains, and Automobiles. Yes.
And most of it's lost because it was on nitrate, and most of it's been considered to be degraded.
But I thought that they released like quite a bit of that though recently. I thought that was the thing, right? It was like 45 minutes or something. I thought that they had.
But there's like an hour they think of like shot stuff.
Yeah.
That was cut out way early on in test screenings. Anyway,
how crazy is that, right?
Yeah.
What a great movie.
All right, I'm sorry. Thank you.
All right, so the next page, Rintrah plows into Jack, who says, "Keep away from me, you!" And then, it's oof. And Steven says, as a fool, I didn't realize anymore than Rintrah did that his animal nature would take over. And despite his earlier words, he'd react like a bull seeing a wolf attack some helpless cows, which I don't know. I thought was good, but a little shitty for Steven to say. And but Topaz is like, but Steven, the werewolf, it talked.
I know.
It's just like, okay, all right. I like that I don't know. I still, like you, want to imagine that she's keeping a lot of this inside. Like, of course she's seen a werewolf talk. Like of course she knows all that stuff. But she's holding it inside out of from a place of pain.
Right. I mean, like what you're saying, weren't they on date night in New York when Iron Man needed him or something? So she knows Talking Jack.
She knows Talking Jack.
She was in that haunted house with him.
Yeah, she totally does. So, I know. Like you, I had to do a lot of making up a lot of canon in the old head for this. And, so Rintrah and Jack fall into this ravine. And in that final panel, Steven tries to subdue Jack with a spell, but it doesn't work very well. Steven is all proud about it, saying, well, this particular spell has handled a werewolf or two in its day. It ought to, but it didn't work so well.
Yeah, Strange comes off not great in this issue in some points, like where she says, Steven, that werewolf had talked. He's like, some do, some don't. Just keep back, Topaz. Like, excuse me, motherfucker. Like, this would not fly today, right? I mean, you could even this would be canceled in social media for like, I'm sorry, what did you just say to me?
Yeah, but also, but we feel the same way because of our love and respect for Topaz. And I'm just like, no, she's not a damsel in distress, asshole. She's Topaz.
Yeah,
she took your place, pretty much for a while when everyone thought you were dead. Like, Yeah,
so he's cast a spell that's worked on other werewolves, and Jack breaks out of it pretty easily. He's like, well, okay, that is a surprise. And he's like, well, not to put too fine a point on it, but the day I can't handle a werewolf, the Earth had better start looking for a new Sorcerer Supreme. So he's also, I don't know, a little bit of ego here.
Yeah, he definitely does.
And so he decides, well, the easiest way to handle this guy right now is just to pull him up into the air. So they start levitating up in the air. And then Jack says, Strange is like, maybe a less werewolf-specific spell might do the trick. And then Jack says, and the reason for that, magician, is that I'm not like any werewolf you've ever saw before. His grammar gets worse when he turns into a werewolf. And he's like, frankly, my friend, I'm inclined to believe you. I saw you didn't claw at Rintrah either before after your joint fall. He's like, I didn't come here to kill anyone or anything. And so Strange is confused. He's like, well, I hear there's some ex-cattle who might disagree with you. He's like, I had nothing to do with that. Topaz, tell these two that my last name's Russell, not Ripper, which was one of my favorite points.
It's a great line.
And she's like, Jack, is that you? And he's like, you're still an empath, aren't you? I'm surprised you couldn't feel the truth. Yes, I'm Jack Russell. And the reason I don't look like the old-fashioned Lon Chaney Jr. werewolf you used to know is that I'm not him anymore. So this is the meeting I've wanted for a long time.
Yeah.
Reunion. I guess not meeting.
We've all wanted this. I mean, when was the last issue of Werewolf by Night? 78?
Yeah, 77, I think.
Yeah. So, no, it's been a long time coming, at least publishing wise, for them to meet again. Yeah, I did really dig this page, especially that first panel where Jack is breaking free of the spell. And it's weird. It's like he's breaking the bars. They're like these purple bars that are in have him in a cage, and he just like breaks the magical bars, which I thought was super cool.
Yeah, it's like they're light constructs, right? Like
I know,
like Green Lantern, and like I love that he is magic. So he's and now that he's fully integrated, he's way stronger than any kind of A level, B level spell. Like he just shatters it, swipes away like it's mosquitoes.
Oh yeah, he's way stronger. So moving to the next page, Topaz says, "What happened to you, Jack?" And then there's a really nice 3-panel transformation back to human, as Jack explains. So I like that he even says at the beginning, to keep it short and sweet. Recently, I managed to fully integrate the two sides of my nature, the wolf and the man. And we get our first editor's note, which is, Marvel Comics presents 56 through 59. And so I thought that was interesting, because I'm assuming at this point, like, if Roy didn't want to use what was done in Marvel Comics Presents as canon, I'm pretty sure he has the fucking right to be like, nah, I want to go in a different direction. Like, I don't have to do that.
Like,
but he didn't.
Do you think that in Wolverine and Hulk reading guides that Marvel Comics Presents stories are even considered canonical?
I don't know, honestly.
I don't either.
Yeah, I mean, they seem pretty slight to us, even though there was a lot of retconning and a lot of mythos changing done in them, especially with the Jack character. But yeah, obviously Roy thought it was interesting enough that he could take it and do something cool with it. And so, Jack explains, no more murderous bloodlust 3 nights a month. I can control transformations. he says his little... states the plot of his mission statement, the plot of the pilot of his show. All I want to do now is help other poor paranormal devils who may still be like I was.
No.
Yeah. So when I read about cattle mutilations up here, I thought they might have been caused by werewolves I'd created by scratching a victim sometime in the past. He's like, those are the people I want to help, though, more than anybody, my children, I call them. And so, he's fully back to human form. And he's like, pardon me, Dr. Strange, do you think you could spare your cloak for a minute here? It's getting a little drafty without my fur. And so Strange gives him his cloak, and then Topaz says, "Looks like I'm seeing more of you than I used to, Jack," which was funny. Is it weird that made me a little sad?
Yeah. I mean, no, it's not weird at all.
No. Yeah. I know that I mean they were both in their 18 to 20, teens. But they were like 18 to 20, I think. I mean, and they had dated for a long time. They had traveled the world, and I was just like, I know that was 70s Marvel and it had to be pretty chaste, but I was also like, oh man, you guys never just found that the time just never happened with them. They were fighting people. They were doing crazy shit. We saw in the last issue of Werewolf by Night, their date night, which maybe, finally would have sealed the deal. But no, Iron Man and some fucking Triana-Man had to fuck that up. And obviously they broke up after that. So I laughed, but then I was like, it's also kind of sad.
No, I will not be swayed from the belief that they slept together on the train to Transylvania in
like that's what I thought.
Dracula 18.
There's no way.
Very implied.
Yeah, I mean it was heavily implied in that. So I didn't like this. That kind of bummed me out a little bit. But Dr. Strange is like, "Oh, you recognize me then?" And he's like, God. He's like, and Jack's like, "Even a wandering werewolf catches a little TV now and then, Doctor." And then I love this. So Rintra's there, and he's like, "Well, you are all stand there conversing. That monster's scratches will turn me into a werewolf." And then, Jack is like, "Don't worry, those were an accident, and I can only pass the werewolf curse on if I mean to." And he says, "You're a weird one, aren't you?"
As he's wearing the cloak of levitation.
Yeah, and naked and nothing else. Dongs aplenty.
And then like a kimono together.
Yes. And then Jack says, "Still, I remember this man bull called Dragonus once." And Rintra says, "Frankly, so do I." So
made me so happy.
I know, it's so fucking hilarious. But also, Rintra did interact with Dragonus.
Really?
I don't. Yeah. So this happened. So this is a reference to Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, issue 17, where I guess for some reason Marie Laveau summoned Dragonus, and he ended up like kind of goring Rintra.
Holy shit!
So yeah, so that's why his little aside is kind of funny. He's being kind of caustic there. He's like, yeah, I know that fucker gored me.
Oh my god.
Crazy, right?
Yes, and I love that he's concerned about turning into a werewolf. He's a bowl man. Like,
yeah,
it's a couple steps away, dude.
I know. Just that whole panel has so many funny things about it. Oh god. And so yeah, so okay. So this was one of my main weirdly one of my main complaints about the issue was this final panel. Not the art I mean, the art isn't great, but the way that the balloons are laid out.
Oh, I know.
So clunky and weird. Like I did that thing to where if you have to do this in a comic, they did something wrong.
Mechanics
to where I had to reread this and be like, wait, who is saying what and how is this laid out? Like, it's that weird thing to where we take for granted like balloon placement and all this stuff because it easily reads and tracks and we can understand it. And so when that falls apart, it's like the floor falls out from under you. You don't understand. And yeah,
it's like traffic lights, right? Like,
it is.
You just take them for granted. Like, this is how stuff works. Cars go now, these cars stop. Yeah, I had the same issue, and the art also did not work for me. So this was really frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, Topaz looks so weird and unfinished. Again, she almost has an identikit face that we had talked about
haggard.
On the.
She looks like Marlene Dietrich or something.
Yeah, it's just such a weird, unfinished look to that. Yeah, I think that was a panel that they just maybe tried to correct over and over again and just fucked it up more and more. So yeah, this is my least favorite thing.
Doctor Strange was in Speed Racer.
Yeah, exactly. It must be from looking at this because yeah, it's a fucked up panel.
Rintra looks real fucked up.
Yeah, everyone just looks so strange, and even Jack's
biscuits and gravy. He's
and then like in Jack's head in relation to the rest of his body, it looks like he has a giant neck. Like it looks like his
neck,
like a 2-foot neck. Like he's like he's Reed Richards or something. It's just so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, my least favorite panel by far of this whole issue.
Me too. Do we need to cover any of this, or is it's just him catching them up, right?
Yeah, it's just him recapping. Oh yeah, the hunters were using silver bullets. I thought that was really weird, and yeah, that's it.
Okay. So Topaz says, this might not be the best time to ask, but can you change back into a werewolf so I can get some of your fur? And then we hear off screen, that will not be necessary. And Richard says, Master, he's like, I see them. And we see the 3 hunters appear, and they come over the ridge. They're in the ravine, right? The same ravine that he jumped over.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they come up with their rifles drawn on them and say, and we beheld the young man's transformation only moments ago. And the other guy says, there's no need to witness it yet again. And Strange says, you 3 big game hunters aren't from around here, are you? Look, if you'll just lower those rifles for a second, we can straighten things out. And again, I have to say it again, the Ditko dots on his gloves just made me endlessly happy every time I saw his hands. I don't know why. Awesome. I fucking love that.
No, they're awesome.
So they say lower our rifles, and then they all is there a term for this? The butt of the gun, smack them in the head and knock them out.
Yeah. With the butt of the with the butt of their rifles. Yeah, I know.
Is there a rifle version of pistol whip? That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
let's just call it rifle whip from now on.
So yeah, they knock out Jack, Doctor Strange, Rintra, and Topaz, and they say an excellent suggestion. And then we see them all unconscious in a pile, and more hunters join them aside from the 3, and say they did not notice us. Oh God. Okay. One of the most unfortunate word balloons I've ever had to read in a comic. They did not notice us coming on them from behind.
Yeah. Yep. I know.
But I told you, my lord, that we needed to work on our colloquial speech patterns. So here's a tell. Oh, They talk funny. Here's what's wrong with them. All that matters is now they're our captives. Now let us shed these loathsome shells. So they were not human.
Yep, that's the big reveal. So yeah, let's just get to it on that last page. And so it says, it said, now let us shed these loathsome shells as one. And then all the people kind of look like they're falling down or fainting. And that says that we may take control of Doctor Strange and his companions in the form which he knew us some time ago, the form of the possessors. So, and that which we possess, we feel likewise free to destroy. So the possessors are green, alien-looking fellas with red and white, alien jumpsuits. And so these guys first appeared in Strange Tales 118 from March of 1964.
Wow.
I read the issue. They were interdimensional invaders that were they would take possession of people, and they were defeated by Doctor Strange. But they got him this time because they harnessed the mighty power of the rifle butt, I guess, which kind of, I don't know, that kind of threw me a little bit.
Was this from the Ditko run? Their original
Yeah.
appearance?
Oh, yeah,
okay,
totally.
So I've read this. Okay. I don't remember them.
I guess they're in a couple issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
And somehow I did not, when their green gaseous forms are coming up out of their unconscious hunter bodies, I guess I kind of just was reading over it, and I didn't notice that it said, take control of Doctor Strange and his companions. I didn't realize that they were planning to use their bodies next and destroy them ultimately.
Yes.
So the big twist here, I kind of went over my head.
Yeah. And we get the teaser for the next issue at the bottom, says, wide is the gate. And
that porno.
Yeah. So that's the end of the issue. And of the main issue, I don't know how much you want to go over the Book of the Vishanti. In this one is Legacy of the Wolf, which I'm assuming you just glanced over, because if you read the whole thing, it would kind of make you mad.
I read the first few pages. In my scan, I don't know how it looks. Is this on Unlimited?
Yeah, it's on Unlimited.
So on the first page, are the yellow narration text boxes yellow? Because on here they're almost black. So
no,
they're hard to read.
On the Marvel Unlimited version, they're almost like a grayish.
Okay.
They're not, you can read them for sure. But so this just kind of goes into talking about wolves, and it's like these ancient wolves, or these wolves are telling a story about this ancient race who, and it kind of gets into,
Von Daniken and Kirby.
and that kind of stuff. But actually, it's mainly about these guys called the Gene Lords of Arcturus.
I had a mouthful of Rainier beer, dude. When you said our new band name. Don't do that.
No, you're right. That is our new band name. We're the Gene Lords of Arcturus. They originally appeared in Fear number 21 during the Morbius run.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
This exists.
I thought they were just freeballing at this point in the Book of Ashanti.
No, so they did not exist like this. There were only like 3 of them in Fear 21. They get the
Power
Gene
trio.
Lords. Yeah, they were a power trio. Then they expanded into a free jazz octet. And I think it's Fantastic Four 316. They kind of got bigger. But then this expands the mythos even more. And I don't know. It's kind of bullshit. They basically, they create this race of people, and they're just, kind of high evolutionary type shit. But it's basically saying that werewolves are because of, genetic engineering. And anytime they try and science a werewolf in a comic that has Werewolf by Night in it, we say no to that kind of that we don't like that.
No.
So, I wasn't super impressed with this backstory. So I don't know. Read it if you have Marvel Unlimited and you want to check it out. Read it. It was really confusing and kind of stupid to me, so I don't even want to go through it.
Because when you're free flying with the Gene Lords of Arcturus, who needs base? I didn't know they'd be expanded. That's a shame, because they were killer power trio.
They were a great power trio, but yeah, they needed thumb piano and didgeridoo. So
well,
yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah,
who doesn't?
I'd like to read a letter about this issue from Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme number 31.
Okay.
All the letters were about this issue, so I chose one. Dear Marvel, I picked up Doctor Strange number 26 because it had one of my childhood favorites in it, Werewolf Jack Russell. I bought Werewolf by Night back in the early 70s and have a nostalgic attachment to the character. As I recall, Roy Thomas created the character and Jerry Conway supplied the finishing touches. I'd be happy to see a new monthly series, preferably by Doug Minch, my favorite WBN writer, and Mike Plug. I'm with you, buddy. Then yes, who did the cover? The Mike Golden-inspired inks look like Mark McKenna's work, but who did the pencil work? Chris Marinan? Is that how you say his name?
Yep.
I like the way the werewolf looks on the cover, and I wish he had looked like that bulked. I wish he had looked that bulked out inside the book as well. I like the new werewolf visuals a lot, but the Mike Plug version is my favorite. I think you can please old fans and new ones by keeping both versions. The talking werewolf, like the intelligent Hulk, is fine from time to time, but let's not forget that these are monsters we're dealing with here. It takes the fun out of it if we can't see them go into mindless rages now and then, like they did in the good old days. Another thing I liked was seeing Doctor Strange being unable to hold the werewolf with a spell, but I thought he underestimated werewolves in general when he talked as if they were simple to defeat. I hope none of you forget that Doctor Strange himself was a werewolf in an old Marvel team-up story with Spider-Man and Clea. It'd be a darn shame if that noteworthy fact were somehow overlooked. Most people don't forget being werewolves. I was confused by Topaz saying, "Looks like I'm getting to see more of you than I used to, Jack," when she was Jack's love interest in Werewolf by Night for years. I find it highly unlikely that Jack and Topaz didn't become lovers at some point in the past. Topaz was virtually created to be with Jack. So how about finally getting them back together? It's long, long overdue, and we never were told why they drifted apart. One last quibble about Topaz. Drop the cowboy hat. It doesn't fit her character. Rick Powell, Waco, Texas.
Oh, this guy is totally on point. My God.
Right? I mean, he's like our advocate.
He totally is. Oh, God, what a great letter.
So the response is, we'll leave the Jack Russell Topaz angle to some future Werewolf by Night series, which is being considered, Rick. But while we're aware of Doc's brief stint as a werewolf, even we didn't mention it in the story, we'd have to disagree that most werewolves would prove much of a threat to Doc unless they took him unawares. He is, after all, Earth's Sorcerer Supreme, and a far more formidable mage than even he used to be. By the way, the covers to Doctor Strange 26 through 28 were the work of artist Mike Golden, who simply neglected to sign them.
That's not correct.
I did not read that. I did not read the response until just now, so I was like, wait, what?
No, as according to GCD, that is.
I trust GCD more than whoever's answering these letters.
I definitely.
That's not Mike Golden. I love Mike Golden, but that's not Mike Golden.
I don't think so. No, and I mean we would know that. That would be
okay.
No, that's stupid.
I thought that was the best letter because I try and pick the ones that echo us or are starkly contrasting our opinions usually.
Yeah.
So
So I mean, obviously Jack and Topaz were lovers, which is why we're just moving into final thoughts. Yeah. I mean, it was depressing to see that once Topaz realized it was Jack, I mean, you want them to embrace each other. You want them to be like, "Oh, it's been so long. Like, I can't believe it's you." Like, but she's so like, they both are so standoffish with each other that, you realize like, oh, fuck, something bad must have happened. Like in my mind, I wanted it to be like, oh, well, maybe this is when, the Children of Dawn started pursuing Jack and he just had to leave, and he was leaving and he didn't want to put Topaz in danger, so he didn't contact her. And so that's kind of what I was running from or going with in my head. But then I'm like, no, well, at least I don't know. I mean, I tried to figure out some kind of scenario that wasn't them ending on a bad note, but it seems like from the body language that we saw with them and how they talked with each other that no, this wasn't a happy reunion, and that was sad.
Yeah, I agree. And your headcanon makes perfect sense because he ran to Paris, which is why she could have been in Europe. You know what I mean? Who knows how long she was there? He could have left her high and dry in a fucking Parisian little motel or something like that. And no note, no nothing, because he doesn't want to, give her any information that she could give to someone else, to the cult or whatever. I mean, it's just like you can think of 1,000 reasons, but it's like, it was not gutting. I try to not use that over much, but I was bummed. I was
really bummed because, of course, we want Jack and Topaz together. They were such a great team. We really wanted them to, solve these paranormal crimes all over the world just as a duo. And that, we didn't get that, and they didn't get that. Like, I'm not sure Topaz has had another love interest. I'm pretty sure Jack hasn't. And it's just it's sad. And so that was a bummer. This was not the reunion that I had expected or hoped for. And so that was a bummer. It didn't ruin the issue for me because the issue is so strong. Roy and Dan's, is writing. And the art was really good too. And there was very few complaints structurally and art wise for me, but the Jack and Topaz reunion was a little depressing. Yeah.
It's like in 90210, if like you end the season with, Dylan and Kelly are together, and then the next season starts and they go in the Peach Pit and they're like, oh, hey. And like, hey. And like, whoa. What happened over the summer, bro?
Yeah. Yeah,
which would be something that's exciting to find out about. This doesn't feel like this is a exciting maze of drama to an onion to peel. This is like, no, this didn't go well.
It just didn't go well, and they've moved on, and they're seeing their exes now, and just being like, fuck, like I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah,
and that's it was a little depressing, but that's okay. Hopefully, it'll get a little better next issue.
He got so close to working out with Jessica Drew. It just didn't happen. And she met that dude in San Francisco, and they were dating. And
they would have been great. I know. It's never the right time. So so I was kind of looking at what Topaz. Topaz shows up a few more times, and then the closest she gets to having like her own book or being a giant part of a book is that Witches book. And where she, owns the bar or something like that. And I mean, like I've said many times, my main research resource is Grand Comics Database. And that's what I go to over and over again. But as far as like the Marvel Wiki is concerned, Topaz doesn't show up after Witches. She's done.
Really?
And maybe that's wrong. Maybe I need to, maybe I haven't read something from 2014 or 2016, or I haven't read those Werewolf by Night. So maybe she shows up in that, but there's not a lot of evidence that she's anywhere in the Marvel universe anymore.
Man,
what a bummer.
And it was so fun talking with Michael about like, when, Eliza or whatever her name is, Elsa, asked him, like when he's smelling her, and she's like, has this worked? And he has this heavy moment. He's like, once, like, like we like to think that was Topaz in your heart of hearts. Right. And he didn't say either way, but he's like, I get that, it feels like she's sewn into his character at this point, just because of all their history. I'm with you. I thought the art was 95% brilliant. A couple really weird emaciated coyote things there and some weird faces that didn't work. But again, overwhelming majority was gorgeous. Yeah. George Rousseau, right? I mean, like he made this in a lot of ways. I mean, he's equally as important to this as the pencils and inks are, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, he's a genius, and we've praised him time and time again. And like I say, he's in the late part of his career, and he's still doing outstanding work. Yeah.
So for me, Roy's writing and Roy and Dan's writing was awesome. I love Jack getting back to that more, I don't want to say noirish, but just that kind of flat, just even narration without the quirky stuff in there. And yeah, you know, I've always had this weird block with Doctor Strange because I, as a kid, even felt like he came off as an arrogant prick, and as an adult, I was like, I think he's supposed to be kind of like
He is.
He's not a prick. He's a good person. He has a good heart, but he has these tendencies to go to, I'm a fucking famous neurosurgeon, like wipe my brow, scalpel, like that's who he is. But he protects our entire planet, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and obviously in the MCU they leaned really heavily into that, and Benedict Cumberbatch, did a great job with that, and that's how most people know Stephen Strange for sure. But yeah, no, I'm with you.
Cool. So yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of this, and just had to note that this is cover dated February 91. So even though it was probably published in December or whatever, we're now officially, decade start.
Oh yeah,
in the one of the decade. So we're officially in the 90s now. So if your sneakers are melting, if you're sweating profusely, that's lava, baby.
but wasn't this a nice piece of granite like floating in that lava though? Like I felt sure-footed reading this issue. So
I Mario double jumped between all these panels. It was nice. Safely landed on the other side. I'm super excited. Have you read the next one yet?
Yes, I have.
Am I going to be happy?
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it.
Okay. Well, I'm very excited for the next issue. I was hoping, again, in my heart of hearts, that there was going to be some backstory here, but I know it's not going to happen.
Well, we'll see.
Okay. Cool. So, anything other business here? We have the bonus show coming up, right? I mean, that's news.
That is news. That's a bonus show we do every week for our patrons. This week, we're going to be covering the 2017 Estonian folk horror film called November.
I'm excited for that, to talk to you about that.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm going to do another one of my Kickstarter catch-ups, and I'm going to talk about Zach Soto's The Secret Voice, published by Floating World Comics.
Cool. Yeah, I'm really excited to hear about that as well.
So how do people get that? Like, if they're interested, like, wait, what? I want to hear about this comic, or I want to hear about this movie.
Well, it's pretty easy. You go to patreon.com/werewolfbynightpodcast and you can become a patron. There are multiple tiers that you can join. On a couple of those tiers, I think at the $3 and above tier, you can get the bonus show, and you can get the video version of the bonus show, which Matt lovingly edits every single week. And also, one of the things that we do for our patrons on those higher tiers is that we give shout outs.
Yes, we do. So for our pack member level, which is $5 a month, we give shout outs to the wonderful folks who support us at that tier. Folks like Ryan from Across the Bifrost,
Tim Tucker,
Brian from Marvel by the Month,
Blake, last name withheld,
Caleb,
Ben M,
Michelle from Moonlit Comics,
Rob Haferman,
Russ from Tomes of Evil,
Brad Elmore,
Tony Ayupi,
Jared C,
Brink Bunny,
Bill from Long Island,
David D,
and MJ.
And I love that MJ said you can call me MJ or some British cult.
So should we switch on and off? Like maybe we should.
I would love him to tell me. He talks to us on Twitter. I would love to know what the second the nomenclature is there on the second one.
Yeah, I want some answers.
Let us know, MJ. We'd love to hear it. And then there is a airier, higher, more stellar, magical tier that is reserved for our barbarian deity members who support us at the $10 a month level. They're our patron saints. They are our star gods, and they're the wonderful people like Michael Giacchino,
Josh Link,
Jackson T. Overstreet,
Mark Nivens,
and Eric Hadley. Thank you for your support. You slay. We love you for it. All right, so next week we'll be talking about Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, number 27. And that's going to be our last issue of season 3, because the final episode will be the finale. This is crazy.
It's pretty crazy. This has been a pretty long journey. We've done over 100 episodes. About, most of them about Jack Russell, but we did take our detour. And in season 2, we talked about Werewolf, John Jameson. But yeah, we've been werewolf centric for 2.5 years or so. And it's going to be weird moving on to other strange horror and occult themed comics. It's strange. I haven't gotten my head around it yet.
Yeah. And I will always have a place in my heart for Jack Russell and John Jameson. Regard them lovingly, and I would be happy to jump in and read anything in the bonus show or something like that for people have asked us endlessly if we're going to read the late 90s Strange Tales 2 issues and the 4 or 6 issue Werewolf by Night thing that I think Paul Tobin wrote or Jenkins. I forgot who wrote it, but I would do that for like a one shot, like a one bonus episode where we just read those and just talk about that 90s run.
Can we have a higher Patreon level where if someone pays us like $1,000 each, I will read those issues for no less than $1,000?
Wow. I like that you know your value and you're not afraid to ask for it.
No, I'm not. I'm worth it.
I've had those issues for 20 years. I haven't read them. I just keep moving them in boxes, getting ready to be bound, baby.
I know. It's going to happen. Send those things to Hoochin.
Yeah, well, we need something. Cool. So, next week we'll be doing that issue, and keep your eyes peeled again on our socials for those ballots coming out. I guess I talked around it. By entering your ballot for this voting, you are also entering yourself into a drawing for werewolf prizes. If that's not clear, I'm making it very explicit now.
Yeah, very cool werewolf prizes.
Yeah.
Coveted even.
Yeah, covered even. All right, thanks for joining us this week, listeners. Till we meet again beneath the full moon, furry ones, here's howling at ya.